with that out of the way, let's go right ahead and get into this second segment, which is talking about the NBA games that took place over the yesterday, excuse me, not over the weekend. The games, they took place on Christmas. As we know, for the longest time, the NBA has dominated Christmas, and a lot of people, they tune into basketball on Christmas. It's like, to the fans at least, and I'm sure to like several other people, it's like a tradition, I guess you could say. Like, there's always going to be NBA basketball on Christmas. Some of the more popular games that the NBA has are on Christmas Day. And these are, like, they draw in the most attention. There's so many Christmas matchups that are just, like, legendary, and people don't really forget them. I mean, Kobe, he's played in so many Christmas games. LeBron against Steph and Curry, that happened for so many Christmas games as well. Cavs versus Warriors back in 2017 when Kevin Durant first got onto the roster. That was a very, very popular Christmas game that the NBA has under its belt. So the NBA has dominated Christmas for the longest time. And now that the NFL is sort of trying to compete with them in Christmas games, it seemed a little bit, at least to me, it seemed a little bit unclear whether or not the NBA was actually going to draw in some viewers, but I think there were a lot of close games in this one that a lot of people wanted to tune into these games a little bit more, as opposed to tuning into the NFL games, which were more or less snooze fest. So we'll start with the first game. The Knicks, they went up against the San Antonio Spurs. Victor had a phenomenal game in this one. I mean, he ended the game with 42 points and 18 rebounds. He joins Tracy McGrady and Wilt Chamberlain as the only three players, the two other players in NBA history that have recorded 40 points or more in their Christmas debut. T-Mac did that in 2000 against Indiana, and Wilt Chamberlain did that all the way back in 1959 against Syracuse, which isn't even a team anymore. And this is, I mean, Victor is going to be the future of the NBA. There's really nothing more that needs to be said about this. And the fact that the Spurs still ended up losing, they lost 117 to 114 to the Knicks, really goes to show you just how good the Knicks team actually is. I mean, this Victor is practically unguardable. Also, this game was streamed like from Disney Plus, and we got to see Mickey Mouse drop a couple of buckets. Goofy was also there, Donald Duck was there, Daisy was there, Minnie was there. They were all there. The whole Mickey Mouse clubhouse was there. And no LeBron, though. I'm sure most of you LeBron haters get that joke. But the reason why the Knicks ended up winning this game was because Mikal Bridges was able to match Victor Wembanyama's 42 points by dropping 41. 1 point difference, still nonetheless impressive. He shot the ball very efficiently as well. He went 17 for 25 from the field and 6 of 9 from 3. Very good performance. They needed every single bit of those 41 points that he ended up dropping, as well as the clutch bucket at the end of the game to seal the win. And Josh Hart had a double-double in this game, 12 points and 12 rebounds. Brunson had 20, Karl Anthony Towns had 21. But this game was all Mikal Bridges and Victor Wembanyama. Jeremy Shohan also played pretty well with 21 points, but I mean, you can't really argue with the 7'4" guy that drops 42 points. By far, without a doubt, the player of the game, despite the loss. I mean, you can make the argument that Mikal Bridges was the player of the game, but they put on a show. And it was, at least for me, it was definitely more entertaining watching this game than actually watching the NFL game that was going on, which was the Chiefs going up against the Steelers. And the next game that I have on this list is the Timberwolves going up against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I believe with this performance from Klay Thompson, he ends up passing Reggie Miller on the all-time three-point shooting list, which puts him behind, in no particular order, in order, Damian Lillard, Ray Allen, James Harden, and Stephen Curry. Those are the shooters that are in front of Klay Thompson at the moment, but he ends up passing Reggie Miller. So, great accomplishment from him. He ended the game with 12 points, 4 for 10 from the three-point line. Kyrie Irving was the star for the Mavericks in this game, and for some reason I did not include the Mavericks in the images. Oops. Well, regardless. Kyrie Irving was ridiculous. 39 points, 14 for 27 from the field, 5 for 14 from 3. Luka Doncic was very, very quiet in this one. He ended the game going 5 for 9, 14 points. He also suffered a very serious injury, which is most likely going to sideline him for a very long time. That's what the Mavericks are preparing for. He only played 16 minutes, so the injury happened really, really early. And the game was, despite this, however, the game was still, it was still rather close. The Mavericks were very, very close to blowing this game, but they ended up holding on to the very end. Nobody on the Timberwolves, they ended up really playing that well. I mean, Anthony Edwards, he had 26 points, but nothing really remarkable like Victor Wembanyama's ridiculous performance, especially when you take his field goal into account, going 11 for 24. Not that efficient, but again, 26 points is still 26 points, so you can't really complain. Julius Randle had 23 on 6 for 13, and this was, in my opinion, at least the weakest game of Christmas, and it was still a pretty close game. But the next game on the list that I'm going to talk about is the 76ers matching up against the Boston Celtics. The Sixers surprisingly ended up winning this game. Even with the healthy roster, I did not expect the 76ers to win in this one, and they actually had the entirety of the big three to actually play in a game this time. Paul George was the worst out of every single one of them, 0 for 7 from 3, 4 for 15 from the field. But Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey ended up stepping up big time. Joel Embiid ended with 27 points and 9 rebounds, 8 for 15 from the field. And Tyrese Maxey ended with 33 points, 3 for 9 from the three-point line, and 12 for 23 from the field. And the Celtics, Jason Tatum was great in this one, but his performance was all for nothing. 32 points, 15 rebounds just to lose. Unfortunate. Jaylen Brown, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And Derek White ended with 21 points. And there was no Jrue Holiday in this one, but in this game, Kristaps Porzingis, he didn't really play all that much. However, still, 9 points on 3 for 8 shooting is not that ideal, especially when you're going up against this kind of team. While I was not expecting this loss, you can't really, I don't think the Celtics were expecting this loss either. So this might be, a little bit of, lack of preparation for this game. I don't know what exactly went on, but they did not, I guarantee you they were not expecting to lose this game, and they did not go into this game thinking they were going to lose. But I'm pretty sure they went in with a confident attitude, if that makes sense. Oh, there's no way we're going to lose. It's the Sixers. But this shows that the Sixers, when they have all three players playing, they are an incredibly competent team. It's just one of those players, Joel Embiid, does not want to play every single game, which is going to hurt this team in the long run. Despite this win, I don't see the 76ers making it very far at all in the future. And with Joel Embiid as the center, especially with his decision to not play in back-to-back games, I just do not see that happening at all. But regardless, this was a very big win for the 76ers. Maybe this could push them into the right momentum, and also this is a very bad loss for the Celtics. Next, the moment you've all been waiting for, LeBron James and the Golden State Warriors. Another classic Christmas game between Steph and LeBron. They both played phenomenally in this one. Steph ended with 38 points, 6 assists, and ended with he hit some really, really clutch three-pointers that we don't usually see him hit, and that tied the game eventually until Austin Reaves said, no, this is LeBron's holiday, and decided to drop a triple-double, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, as well as the game winner. Anthony Davis only played in 7 minutes, so he got hurt. Of course he did. LeBron, of course, had to carry the rest of the team, aside from Austin Reaves. 31 points and 10 assists from King James. And, I mean, the Warriors, they really just wasted a great game. Aside from Andrew Wiggins, the Warriors wasted a fantastic game from Stephen Curry. I mean, 38 points from Steph, and you still end up losing. That's diabolical. Andrew Wiggins ended the game with 21 points and 12 rebounds. Draymond Green had 10 rebounds as well, but of course we know Draymond is not a scorer. And apparently the rest of the team is also not scorers because they were awful. I mean, Schroeder was 3 for 10 from the field. Kuminga was 4 for 10 from the field. He did have a really cool posterizing dunk, but still, you cannot allow Stephen Curry to drop 38 points and still lose the game. Granted, this is LeBron we're talking about, and if we're going to be real here, Steph Curry has never really been able to beat LeBron on an even playing field. Steph Curry fans are not going to like that I said that, but it's true. And, I mean, the Lakers, they sort of just outplayed them. Granted, there's really no reason why the Warriors should have lost this because Anthony Davis did not play the entirety of the game. So this was a very winnable game for Golden State. They just blew it, and this moves their record to 15-14, proving the theory that I said before and that the Warriors have said recently that they cannot keep this style of play up for long, and now it's starting to catch up to them. So, but aside from that, peak performance from LeBron. He's going to be 40 in a few days. Just let that sink in. And then finally, the last game on the list, the Phoenix Suns, they matched up against the Denver Nuggets. Jokic tried his best, 25 points, 15 rebounds, but of course, it wasn't enough because he did not drop a triple-double, and when Jokic does not drop a triple-double, this team loses in the most embarrassing way possible. Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal put on a show for Phoenix as they both ended with 27 points. No Devin Booker in this game, still no problem for the Suns apparently, especially when Jokic is not dropping triple-doubles left and right. They really, really need Jokic's help. Westbrook even played well in this game with 17 points and 6 rebounds, but it just wasn't enough to go up against the Phoenix Suns and their star power. The Nuggets, they don't really have that much of a competent defender to be able to guard Kevin Durant or Bradley Beal. I mean, like, the guards that they have, they aren't really known for being competent defenders. I will say Russell Westbrook is okay, but again, not ideal. Jamal Murray did not really play well in this game, 4 for 10, only 13 points. They really needed a little bit more from him, and I mean, when Jokic doesn't drop a triple-double and ends with 2 assists, you know it's going to be a bad day if you're a Denver Nuggets fan. But those were all the games that happened on Christmas. Again, they were much closer than the games for the NFL, and in my opinion, a little bit more interesting. They also went on for a little bit longer, so there's also that. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought of these Christmas games, which games you tuned into. Did you tune into the NBA ones? Did you tune into the NFL ones? And if so, which ones did you enjoy the most? But right now, we're going to go into a short break, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the third segment, which is going to be covering the college football playoffs. The first round of the college football playoffs happened last weekend, and I just want to go ahead and recap all the things that went down, the important games that happened, and just give my thoughts on each and every single one of those games because I was unable to do that before. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.